My name is Carl Pearson. I'm a Harvard Law School graduate, and I'm on the ballot as a candidate for New York State Attorney General. The main thing I want you to understand is why the New York State Attorney General is the most powerful elected office in the United States, and how knowing this can help you create a law job for yourself upon your graduation from law school. Let me summarize what I'm going to tell you in this set of videos for law students. I'm going to explain why the New York State Attorney General is more powerful than President Obama, why what I'm proposing to do requires no new statutes, constitutional amendments, or government grants, how the New York State Attorney General can help towns, villages, and small cities create prosperity, even within large cities in sectors, why the New York State Attorney General is the nation's sheriff of Wall Street because of federal failure to regulate Wall Street, the destruction of an economy through misguided self-regulation, some of the specific things the New York State Attorney General can do to reform Wall Street, and what courses you should take in law school to prepare yourself for the job that you can create for yourself. Now, you need to look at the entire video set. There will be either 2 or 3 videos. YouTube has a 15-minute limitation per video. The nation's economic problems have to be understood before you can start to cure them. How you recognize and define the problem makes a big difference. If you define the problem as the need of enactment of a federal statute to eliminate corruption, for example, you may not be able to solve the problem as defined. But if you define the problem as the inability to obtain needed legislation because of the unwillingness of Congress to change the way things now work, you will start thinking of an alternative solution, such as what I'm proposing, something that can be done without any new statutes. Now, there's a lot of information which you need before you can understand the problem and its solution. So I urge you to look at these 2 or 3 parts of this video series for law students. All parts are needed. And that 15-minute limitation by YouTube is the reason that it's split up. And I just don't want to leave out any important aspects to try to cut this thing down to whatever size you think might be good. There's a lot of material here, and I really want to lay it all out so that you can have it in one place, which is in that video series. Now, I've created what I call the Vig Economy. And before going into my background, I want to give you a new insight into this nation's economy. And this insight is probably novel and not published by any person other than myself in my Sheriff of Wall Street video series particularly. Vigorish is a Russian term meaning juice, and the corruption, vig, is a slang reference to the usually illegal profit tacked onto a loan when made by a loan shark. The loan sharks generally charge usurious rates of interest, and so do banks and credit card companies, so they have a lot in common. But there are many other ways in which the public pays more than they should for goods and services, and it becomes convenient in my analysis of the economy to coin the term Vig Economy to refer to all of the instances in which the public is overcharged, to see the extent to which the public is deprived of money and opportunity through this system of excessive, often illegal profits or payments to the favored groups at the expense of the rest of the country and the nation's economy. A smart lawyer with legal knowledge across a variety of legal disciplines can figure out where an instance of vig is or may be illegal, and this is a most important function of the office of the Attorney General, federal or state. But such function scarcely exists at the state level and is virtually non-existent at the federal level. If the economy is going to be reformed, these vig issues will have to be addressed. Let me list some, but I'm sure not all, of the different types of vig we have in our economy, and give you a warning that not all vig is illegal or necessarily bad. I'll let you judge for yourself, something you would have to do if you created a job for yourself as a town or city or county attorney general upon your graduation from law school. Now here's a partial list of Vig. Bank loans at a rate of interest usurious under state law. New York law is now 16%. Federal decisions allow this Vig to take place because it emanates from a state of South Dakota or Delaware, which has no usury law, and a federal decision said you can't interfere with interstate commerce, so a state has to permit these foreign banks and credit card companies to sell their Vig product in the state in violation of the state usury laws. I believe there's some challenges, and it should actually be brought back to the Supreme Court to see, let them rule once again on how they help to destroy the economy. They might change their mind. And the Attorney General should do this. So this is an important task for the New York State Attorney General. No one's done it so far, but they should, and I would do it. Home mortgage charging interest in excess of the state usury laws. The federal decision allows this as well. Credit cards charging interest in excess of the state usury rate. Same problem. Monopolistic profits, that is, prices and profits in excess of those in a competitive market. Price fixing in illegal conspiracy to restrain trade. Price discrimination by a manufacturer when selling to competing resellers at different per unit prices. It results in the loss of small business and the loss of competition, and ultimately raises the prices and causes jobs to leave the country. Complicated, but this is what has happened. Exclusive licensing by government without competition for the license. Government grants to favored groups. Some good and some Vig. Political patronage, some good and some Vig. Casinos, monopolistic licensing practices. I think everyone should be able to set up a casino. Lotteries, the monopolistic activities by the state, unfairly putting private enterprise out of the same business. I see no harm in having bookies operating and as they had in the past. I don't see why the state has to take over that function. The absence of competitive bidding on government projects, excessive union compensation, especially in the public sector, some good, some Vig. Excessive governmental salaries and benefits, for example, Congress, some good, some Vig. Building code requirements of using products made by a single company, that's Vig by statute. Armament procurement, some good, some Vig. Cost of overruns in government procurement, some good, some Vig. Copyrights, sometimes used in an illegal monopolistic way, now carrying up to $150,000 statutory penalty for infringement. For example, the illegal download of a song to avoid payment of 80 cents. That's Vig by statute. Patents, sometimes licensed in an illegal way, perhaps acquired through an illegal merger and part of a monopolizing scheme. Trademarks, sometimes used as part of a scheme to monopolize, but now carrying up to a $1 million statutory penalty for infringement, even though the owner can prove no damages whatsoever. That's Vig by statute. Professional and other licensing, some good, some Vig. $500,000 annual Christmas bonuses on average for 10,000 employees of an investment banking firm. What is the company doing to make so much money without competitors trying to compete for the same sales and profits? It might be selling an illegal, worthless security called a derivative or credit default swap. How about a $10 million annual salary by a CEO of a publicly owned company? You mean you wouldn't work for $500,000 a year? You couldn't find somebody for $1 million a year, but they take 10? There's Vig involved there. 100 million or $1 billion in earnings by a hedge fund. What are they doing? Making naked short sales in concert with others to drive small public companies out of business illegally? There's Vig involved in there. It is necessary to define what is legal and what is not through appropriate law enforcement. If the regulators of business, together with the courts, fail to draw the lines, you'll find businesses, especially powerful businesses, going beyond the line and making huge profits because competitors haven't yet dared to challenge the lines. But when the powerful competitor is able to step over the line and make huge profits, others later will also go over the line, and what was illegal now becomes, quote, legal, at least to the extent that the businesses in the know understand that they won't be sued for their conduct. And they really don't want others to know what they are doing or the protection they have, so they can work the lucrative Vig market without competitors. As a potential regulator or even someone working for a Wall Street securities firm or law firm, you have to understand how the excess income or compensation or profits are being obtained to determine if it is an illegal Vig or not. After this is the job of the state attorney general in each of the 50 states, but they haven't been doing their job, with the result that we have a Vig economy with resulting increased concentration of the economy, ever increasing, and actual or threatened loss of your home, job, savings, and opportunity. An economy has a certain number of dollars when you hold it still for a snapshot. A just distribution does not give 90% to the top 2%, nor is it American to have everyone be given the same amount. We have rules designed to foster competition to enable the economy to grow for all of us. But lack of competition results in Vig, and statutes and court decisions create exceptions or exclusions also result in Vig. The job of the Attorney General is to enforce the laws to enable the economy to do its work without disruption by lawbreakers. A case in point, when hearing that the average employee of Goldman Sachs is getting a $400,000 Christmas bonus, the Attorney General should have investigated. Goldman Sachs was making way too much money, possibly, and let's find out what they're doing. Aha! They're creating and selling illegal, toxic, worthless derivatives and making huge amounts of money up front, but unable to buy back these worthless securities later, when they are known to be worthless. The Attorney General should have halted their sales, which, along with similar actions in the home mortgage market, probably would have prevented the near destruction of our economy. There is a direct relationship between the enforcement and the economy, between law enforcement and the economy. Without law enforcement, the thieves win and steal your savings, homes, jobs, and opportunity. I'm now going to give you some of my background so you can understand that I am not a newcomer to these problems.